But in Islam, we are told that marrying the people of the Ahlul Kitab, the Jew and the Christian, is okay. You could marry them. The Jew and the Christian, you could eat their food. You could marry them. The verse is so clear in the Quran that there is no way to go around it. This is the law of Allah. You cannot bring your own, we cannot bring our own interpretation. So this is it's just too straight that we the Muslims are allowed to marry the people, the women of the Ahlul Kitab.
We usually say that the Quran in chapter 5, Surah Al-Ma'idah, Allah says that marrying women who are chaste from the people of the book, whether Christian or Jew, is permissible. This is the Islamic verdict. Why would we say no or yes? Or this is the Islamic verdict.
There is unanimous consensus amongst all the scholars of Islam and all the law madhabs that exist that when it comes to nikah, a Muslim lady must marry a Muslim man. There is no difference of opinion, and this is something that there is ijma' or unanimous consensus about. So we say unequivocally that any person who comes and wants to rechange this law, we say no, it cannot be changed. The Quran is explicit, and the Sharia has come with what is called ijma' or unanimous consensus. But the
people usually confuse the issue of Muslim men marrying Christian women. Why would they confuse this? Because in the Quran, Allah says to us that do not marry idol worshippers or women who commit shirk until they believe. So this is black and white. A Muslim man is not permitted to marry a Hindu woman, to marry a Sikh woman, to marry a Buddhist woman, to marry any other religion where they associate others with Allah. End of story. But we have a verse in Surah Al-Ma'idah that clearly states that it is permissible for a Muslim man to marry a woman from the people of the book, who are the Jews and the Christians. So now people come and say, okay, the ayah in chapter 5, Surah Al-Ma'idah, where it is permitted for us to marry the people of the book, women, is referring to Jews and Christians. We have no problem with that. But today's Christians believe in Trinity. So they are idol worshippers. You go to a Catholic church and you would find statues of Mary, of Jesus Christ on the cross, so they claim, of Saint Paul, Saint Petersburg, whatever. They have their saints and they worship them. You find them in their houses putting these idols and they're calling them, this is idol worshipping. So the confusion comes here, and people nowadays say, yeah, these are mushrik, we can't marry them. Christians at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, we can marry. But this is not true, because Allah Azza wa Jal addresses the Christians in the Quran, which was revealed upon the Prophet ﷺ, and addresses them of believing in Trinity. So Allah tells us, for example, in chapter verse 72, chapter 5 in Surah Al-Ma'idah, لَقَدْ كَفَرَ الَّذِينَ قَالُوا إِنَّ اللَّهَ هُوَ الْمَسِيحُ ابْنُ مَرْيَمَ. Those who say that Jesus Christ, the son of Mary, is Allah, they have committed blasphemy. And also says in the same chapter, verse 73, they who say that Allah is one of three, they have committed blasphemy. لَقَدْ كَفَرَ الَّذِينَ قَالُوا إِنَّ اللَّهَ ثَالِثُ ثَلَاثَةٍ. So at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, the same beliefs of the Christians of today were the same beliefs at the Christians at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, who told us that it is permissible to marry people of the book. Therefore, there is no ambiguity in this. Sufyan?
They are wrong. They don't know the Quran clearly mentions that the Ahl Kitab, the Christians, used to do kufr in Surah Ma'idah chapter 5, verse number 72, that they believe that Jesus is God. They did kufr by saying they believed in Trinity, in Surah Ma'idah chapter 5 verse number 73. Surah Imran chapter 3 verse number 110, Allah says that among the Ahl Kitab there are some who are mu'min, but the majority are perverted transgressors. So the one criteria which all the scholars agree is that the woman from the Ahl Kitab should be muhsinat, and there's no doubt about it. Ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him, puts another criteria that the marriage should only be done in a Muslim state, otherwise not valid. I say according to Surah Imran chapter number 3 verse 110, among the Ahl Kitab there are some who are mu'min. That means they're believers. That means they don't believe that Jesus is God. They don't believe in Trinity. So you can only marry the muhsinat Ahl Kitab, the chaste Ahl Kitab who are mu'min. It will not contradict against the verse of the Quran of Surah Baqarah chapter 2 verse number 221. So according to me, in my humble study, I don't claim to be a scholar, the additional criteria besides the woman being chaste and besides it being in an Islamic state, the third criteria, she should be a mu'min. That means she should not believe that Jesus is God, she should not believe in Trinity. And at the time,
through the track record, we found out that in so many cases, when marrying a Christian woman, this has a very negative impact on the children. And in times of dispute, a woman takes her children, she goes back to her country and makes your children raised up as Christians, leaving Islam. So was it worth it at the end of the day? This is for you to decide.
Most of the scholars, they do not encourage a Muslim man to marry a woman from the Ahl Kitab.